Hi, and welcome to Redefining Your 20s, or welcome back to Redefining Your 20s, where we take a look at different journeys and our challenges that happen while we're in our 20s. I'm your host, Brandy Jones, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about imposter syndrome, as that's something that we don't really talk about in our 20s, which should be talked about more since it does show up so much while you're in your 20s. And it shows up in the beginning of your 20s and your mid 20s to your older 20s. It shows up in every single area. And so that's what I was wanting to talk about today. So imposter syndrome, it's where you kind of downplay your accomplishments, or where you don't feel like you're enough, if it's either in your career place, with relationships, or even in your personal life. It can show up where you feel like maybe they're going to find out that you're a fraud, or that you're actually not good enough, when in reality you are. And you have the skill set, you have the knowledge, and you know you are this person, even though sometimes you may feel like you're not. And so, for an example that I have with how imposter syndrome did show up for me, was COVID. I know right now, all of us in our 20s, COVID hit us in different parts of our lives. So when I was 19, I did have a child, so I was a teen mom. I still went to school. I still went to a university. I went to UNT. And so I finished school in December of 2020. And so if everybody knows, 3 months later, COVID hit in March of 2021. So at the time when I had finished school, I was kind of excited. I kind of didn't know what field I wanted to go into. As the current company I wanted to, there were so many different options there that I wanted to explore and maybe stay with the company that I was with. And then there was also other options and career fields that I wanted to go to that was within my major. And I majored in that because I was excited about those career fields. So I had taken a look at all of that, kind of done some research, getting my resumes ready for the different positions that I wanted to apply out to. And so when I started finally applying and started finally getting interviews, that's when COVID hit. I actually had an interview with a company I was currently with. And then the next day, they basically told me, due to the uncertainty of COVID, we're going to stop hiring for this position. And that's kind of what I got with all the companies that I had kind of applied to. So I downplayed my accomplishments. I know I was really upset. I had a child when I was 19. I was told I wasn't going to graduate school. I was told I was going to have to go straight working in the field. And I was just told that, told a lot of negative stuff to me, which I didn't let it hold me back, as I still went and got my degree. I still finished school within 3 years. But then with something happening, which this happens a lot in our 20s, something happens. But with COVID happening and stopping the job market after everything that I've worked towards, it just it destroyed me. It made me feel really, really sad, like really upset. I was angry that it happened. I was all like, okay, I had a child and everybody didn't believe that I was going to make it to where I was going to make it to. And I felt like I was showing everybody, I got my degree. I was finally going into the career field, going to be making more money, doing more stuff with my life. And then everything just hits. And so I kind of downplayed my accomplishments then. I didn't feel like my degree meant anything. I didn't feel like all the late nights that I had spent working on this degree meant anything. I was really upset about it. And so I just started downplaying, feeling like I wasn't enough to go into the career field that I wanted to be able to move up, to go into different positions. And so I just felt stuck. And then I felt like it didn't mean anything, everything that I worked towards. And so that can happen a lot in our 20s. And it shows up in different areas. And even though we work towards different goals or different things that we're wanting for our life, something can happen and then just make us feel like, it doesn't mean anything. Or when we're going into a career field and we see, a ton of senior people that have been there for a long time, and then we're just starting out. And sometimes we feel like, okay, maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I don't want to speak up. And then with our relationships and personal life, just with social media being out there and seeing where everybody is versus where you're at, sometimes you downplay everything that you've done, everything that you've worked towards. You don't feel like you're doing enough. You feel like it's just a stepping stone instead of actually thinking, okay, I did this. This is an accomplishment. This is something I should celebrate myself for. I did work hard for this. And so that's what we're going to kind of take a look at with imposter syndrome. We're going to take a look at all the different ways that it can kind of show up in your 20s, and then how can we overcome imposter syndrome while we're in our 20s. And so that's what we're going to take a look at in this episode, as it does show up so much in our 20s. It shows up in so many different ways. So that's what I wanted to talk about and really open up that conversation, and then talk about how we can overcome imposter syndrome and how we can move forward from thinking negatively about ourselves. So the way that imposter syndrome can kind of show up while you're in your 20s is feeling like you always have to be perfect at everything, maybe overworking yourself, especially while you're in school, instead of taking breaks. Or I know you can't take breaks during the semesters and how crazy and everything it gets. But maybe just overworking yourself. Even when you're in your 20s, you're wanting to make a certain amount of money. You want to travel. You want all these different things. And so you just work, and overwork yourself trying to prove yourself when you don't have to do that. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to breathe, to take a break. You don't need to be perfect at everything, and you're not going to be perfect at everything. You're still figuring out life. You're still figuring out what you want in your life and how you want your life to go. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the best apartment when you're just starting out to show all your friends, or you want to have all the latest things in your apartment, or go on all the vacations that everybody goes to during spring break or fall break. Even if you're not in school, I know in your early 20s, everybody goes to those different things. And then in your mid 20s, it's kind of just a weird situation. Either you're still in school, you're still figuring out what you want, or maybe you're working on a trade, maybe you want to start a business, or you're still figuring out, while you see others who have maybe just started in their career, others who are just starting out in different areas. And so that can kind of be tough while you're in your mid 20s. And then while you're in your older 20s, you feel like, oh, I'm close to 30 and I haven't done anything. When instead you should take a look back at everything you have done, everything you have accomplished, even if it's overcoming, something that you weren't expecting, even if it's overcoming, different struggles or stuff that you struggled on, and now you're on a better path. That's something to celebrate. That is an achievement. That is something to be proud of yourself about, and especially looking forward to the next things that you're going to be doing in life. And then also in the career place, starting out in the career field, if it's in your major, if it's just, getting into those more serious positions, you may not feel like you belong there. When in reality, if you didn't belong there, you wouldn't be there, but you are there. And you don't have to overwork yourself to prove yourself. Just do, the work that you do, and do a little bit extra if you want to. I know for me, I was always an overworker. I always felt like, okay, I have to prove myself. I have to prove myself in this position because I'm the youngest one in this position. And so I may have overworked myself sometimes, or just went over and beyond when I didn't have to do all of that. I knew at times I was scared about taking time off. Now I'm all like, I'm going to take time off for my kids because I need to think about my life now as well. But when I was younger, I wouldn't take any days off because I knew, either they needed me or they needed people there, and then I didn't want to show like, oh, I took off too much. So I struggled with that, especially with imposter syndrome, as I didn't want to be, I guess, shown as maybe I didn't care, maybe I didn't want this position, or maybe I wasn't supposed to be in this position. So that's something that I kind of struggled with in my early 20s. Now that I'm in my older 20s, I'm going to take off. I have 3 kids. I'm going to take off for them. They're sick. I'm taking off. They have an activity. I'm taking off. They have a field trip. You get the idea. But then also the achievements that you do, celebrate those as wins. Celebrate everything that you do. Celebrate with your family, your friends, or just people that you have around. And even the small achievements, even if it's working towards a stepping stone of something that you want bigger, but you were able to get something accomplished in between, that is something to celebrate. And you should celebrate every little milestone to the big thing that you're wanting. Because even when you get to the big space that you're wanting, you may still have the imposter syndrome, feeling like, okay, I don't deserve this, or I don't deserve to be here, or it doesn't feel real, like you actually have it. And then you can start downplaying your emotions and not actually being happy about this achievement that you worked so hard for. And so that's where imposter syndrome kind of creeps up, is where you don't celebrate your achievements, or you don't feel like you belong, even though you do, because you worked hard for that. You have the knowledge for the position that you're at, or for the position that you're doing. You have the knowledge. You worked hard to get to where you're at. Or even if you struggled in your early 20s and you didn't go the path that you wanted to go to, but now you're changing your life around, you're changing your lifestyle around, it's good to celebrate that, instead of always thinking down about yourself, or thinking, I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve these people around me. Instead, you have to, change your thinking, change your thought process, because it's going to sneak up. Imposter syndrome sneaks up on every stage of your life. Even past your 20s, it's going to sneak up on you. But in your 20s, it really does sneak up on you a lot. And for every life stage, it's going to sneak up on you. Maybe you're a new parent in your 20s and you don't feel like, as a new parent, I'm doing enough. And I know for moms that happens so much. So when you're a new mom or a new parent, that's going to sneak up on you, like you're not doing enough. Or if you're working, you're going to feel like, oh, I'm not there for my child enough. Or if you have to miss an activity or miss something, you're going to feel like you're failing as a parent. But that also shows up in different ways with friendships. When you're in your 20s, it's not like when you're in high school. You're not seeing everybody every day. Everybody's on their kind of own life path, life journey. So somebody that you used to see every day, or your friend group that you were close with, now you guys may be more distant. You guys may have gone to schools that are out of state. Some may have gone and worked in the work field, got an apartment that's further out. Some may just be exploring different options, or maybe out traveling. I know I had friends that did that, and I was jealous of that because they went traveling to all of the other countries while I was just in school. So you see it in different areas, and then you feel like you're not close to them, even though you are, and they're still going to be there for you. You guys just may not be able to see each other every day or every month. Sometimes it goes by like 6 months or 8 months before I see some people again, or some of my closest friends. And we just understand, life is busy. Life is extremely busy. I have 3 kids plus working, plus everything that I'm doing. It's every once in a blue moon that I may see people, or all the relationships that I build, and I may not see them as constantly as I used to see them. And so you have to get used to that. You can't think, oh, I'm a bad friend. Oh, nobody's there for me. People will be there for you. If you need them, call them. They will be there for you. Especially your close friends. Even if you guys haven't seen each other for a few months. I have friends that I haven't seen for a few months. And if I needed something, I know that I can call them. But that's also building your relationships and building your systems that you have around you. As if you're in a new place, or if you're in a new area, you can join different activities, different groups, and meet new people and build new relationships. In your 20s, you're going to build new relationships. You may not keep all the friends that you used to have. And some people, they may not have had that many friends while they were in their teen years. But when you get in your 20s and different life experiences, different people that you're meeting, you may meet a lot more people. But don't downplay those relationships. Don't downplay all the people that you know or people that you feel like won't be there for you, because in reality, they will be there for you. I have friends, if they called me right now, run out and go help them with whatever they needed, even if we haven't seen each other for months, and we have that understanding. And that's with family too. I don't see family that much. I have family that lives all over. None of them live close to here in Dallas. But I know if I needed them, that they would be there for me. And so just don't feel like you don't have anybody. And if you feel that way, you can meet other people. You can go out, join groups, join social groups. Yes, it may be awkward, but also go to therapy or go to counseling if imposter syndrome is really, really getting to you or eating at you. If that's in your career choice, or just with relationships or life in general, you can go to therapy. You can get a life coach. There's different things out there, but you can start with therapy and they can kind of lead you onto where you should go to or what you should take a look at, and really help you, deep dive more into the imposter syndrome as to why you're not feeling enough, because it can hit in every single area. And then social media is a big, big, big thief. On Instagram, Facebook, you're seeing everybody else, what they're doing in life, and in reality, they probably don't have life figured out. Most of us don't. Most of you guys probably watching this, you're just going with the flow. This is what you want right now. This is what you're working towards. But you're still not sure sometimes. So life is just, it's a journey. It's your journey. You don't have to compare yourself to everybody else. I know a lot of people talk about when they're 25, they want to be married and have kids, and that's not happening nowadays. People are not everybody is getting married at 25, having kids. So that's not reality. Your journey is your journey. I know sometimes people do want kids and it just doesn't happen for them at that time. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that you're not deserving, because you are most definitely deserving. And you just have to speak that into yourself. You have to speak positively into yourself. One of the things for imposter syndrome, when it's coming into your mind, if that's with the career that you're in, or at work, or the new position that you're in, or if you're going for a new position, and you don't feel like you're deserving of the position, that can really hinder you. That can hinder you in interviews. That can hinder you in different ways. So you do have to almost name it when imposter syndrome is coming up, and you can name it whatever you want. But if it does show up, you can take a look into it and think, okay, why am I feeling these feelings? Why do I feel like I'm not enough? Is there something that I need to look into? Is there something that I need to do? What are things that I can make myself feel like I do deserve this position? Because you do deserve the position, especially at work. If you're working on projects or working on different things, you're there because you're supposed to be there. Things happen. Mistakes happen all the time. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's human. Something is going to happen at work. You're going to make mistakes. And it took me a long time to learn that, as I felt like I had to be perfect at everything. And I felt like I don't make mistakes. There's nothing wrong with me. And so I had to learn, sometimes I do make mistakes, but how do I fix it? And that's what you have to look at it. Okay, this happened. How am I going to fix it? What is the fastest way to fix it? But with quality, what is the quickest and quality way to fix this item that I may have messed up? So that is something that you can take a look at, just naming the imposter syndrome. And when it's sneaking up on you and you're feeling like, I'm not deserving, I didn't deserve this accomplishment, I don't belong in this room, I don't belong where I'm at, I don't belong in this relationship, Name it, and then either talk about it with yourself or journal it, write it down, and go through why you're feeling these feelings, and then change it. Change how you're feeling. Speak positively about yourself. Speak positively about where you're at, and where you're wanting to go. And then also, if you have a close circle or people that are close to you, people that you can talk with, or maybe a close coworker that you can talk about work stuff with, just talk to them, because most likely they're feeling the same feelings that you feel. It's something that almost everybody struggles with. Everybody struggles with imposter syndrome. And so if you talk about it with them, I'm sure they can share different stories, different ideas about how they felt it too, and how they kind of worked through it, or maybe they can speak positively about you. I remember in college, whenever I was feeling down, me and my friends, we would do this pick me up. So I would send a text to one of my friends saying, hey, I'm feeling down today. Like it's just a bad day at school and work and everything I'm juggling. Can you give me a pick me up? And so with the pick me ups, we would send a message back, just speaking positively to each other and talking about how much we have done, how proud of each other, how proud we are of each other. And to keep going, basically, to keep working, to keep going towards our goals and not to give up. And so you can have an accountability partner too. Have a friend that you can go to, or try to speak to somebody, or go to therapy. You can have somebody to speak to then, every week or every other week or once a month, however you set that up, that maybe they can give you a pick me up. They can explore, the feelings that you're feeling, if it's with your lifestyle and the life that you're living, or the journey that you're on with your career choice, or if it's just with a relationship that you're in, or with relationships with your friends. And don't let social media really hinder you. Everybody's on their own journey. You're on your own journey. I know for me, for social media, I do like posting. I like posting my family. I like posting where I'm going, or going different places. I don't really post when I go to different places. But I know sometimes I see families doing stuff on weekends that I don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep. It was a long week and I just want to sleep. Or I know a long week is coming up. And it's okay to take a break. It's okay to not always feel like you have to be perfect. So just realize that. And just notice it. When imposter syndrome comes up, try to notice it. Try to speak to somebody, and don't feel like you always have to be perfect in everything. And don't overwork yourself. That is the biggest thing, is overworking yourself. I know I still struggle with it, as I'm in a good position now, but I'm trying to get to the next level. So I keep over pushing myself, maybe overworking myself, trying to get to where I'm trying to get to. But sometimes I need to take a step back and just give myself some time. Give myself some time to breathe. Self-care is a big thing with imposter syndrome. Have self-care days. Have it. I know us Gen Zs are a little bit better with the self-care and really thinking about self-care, our mental health, and feeling complete. If that's just maybe taking a walk. Some people do the extreme workouts. I'm not there yet. I don't work out every day. But maybe taking a walk every day to just clear your mind. Listen to music if you like listening to music. I'm one of those weird people where I don't like listening to music when I'm in my mental space. So I either like to take a walk where it's quiet and peaceful, or I like to take a drive with no music on. But for me, it's because my lifestyle is very loud. My kids are loud. They're always speaking. There's always noise. At work, I'm always speaking to people in different meetings, talking to different people, helping train people. That I like silence. For me, when I'm taking my self-care, I need my mental health space. I want it to be silent. I don't want to hear anything, as that's what I hear all day, 24/7. It's just people talking, or I hear my kids. So for me, silence is really self-care for me. If it's just riding around with nothing or taking a walk with no music or anything, that helps me. But find something where you can, I guess, build your self-care in. Find something that you enjoy doing. If it's painting that keeps your mind off of something, then set up and paint. If it's drawing, do that. There's just so many different ways that you can practice self-care without spending money. I mean, if you do have the money to spend on that, you can also do that, as well as there's different spas you can go to. Go get a facial, go get a massage. There's so many different things that, yes, you can spend money on to help with your self-care days. And I know that gets some of us in trouble, especially with Amazon or different things, or spending money that feels like self-care. But don't get yourself in debt, or don't, yeah, especially in your 20s, don't get yourself in debt trying to spend money and making that have you feel better. Some people like to eat. I know me, I'm a sweets person, so I really love crumble cookie. So that helps me. But just find something that can help you with self-care, really helping you, I guess, when the imposter syndrome, or when you have those negative feelings, feeling like you don't belong, or feeling like, that you don't belong in any type of situation, or you're stuck on social media watching their life continue to go on, or you feel like they're flourishing while you're just stuck in one place. Really find some self-care, find some peace. Don't feel like you have to be where somebody else is. That's their journey. That's not your journey. You need to focus on your journey, focus where you want to go, focus on what you're doing now and how you can get to where you want to be. And if that feels impossible, again, we're going to talk about goals. We're going to talk about setting goals and how we can get to maybe the impossible feeling. Maybe you feel like, this is my life. This is what I'm stuck with. I can't even afford to go to school. I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to go on vacation. There's different things that you can do, different things that you can look at in your life. But you are deserving. And you do need to practice self-care. You don't have to be perfect. You do not need to be perfect in any situation. No relationship is perfect. So don't feel like you have to be perfect in a relationship. Don't feel like you have to do all the things that they say, oh, a wife has to do while you're just in maybe a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Don't feel like you have to do everything that a wife has to do. You're not a wife. Or even with friendships, your friend should understand you guys are all in your 20s. You guys are all going through different journeys, different adult things. Different things are going to show up too. There's going to be things that are going to hold you back, or something may happen and you may downplay everything that you've done. And that is the reality, especially in your 20s. Family's getting older, stuff happened to your friends. And it can be hard. There's so many life changes that are going to happen. Devastating things that may happen, some things that you may accidentally get into, or some things that you may accidentally do, and then you get this feeling like you're not deserving of anything. And so don't let that creep up on you. And if it gets that bad, definitely go to therapy, definitely go to counseling. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it's something you are embarrassed by, you don't have to tell anybody. And nowadays you can take it from your phone. So there's no excuse. You can take it from anywhere. It's not like you have to go into a place. You can get on video and speak to somebody. If you need to speak to somebody, if you feel like, okay, it's not something I want to tell my family, it's not something I want to tell my friends, but I need to speak to somebody, you can go to therapy. You can, or go to counseling. Yes, it may cost some, or you may have insurance that will cover it. And you may not know your coverages, but just take a look at your coverages and see if it's something that it covers. And I know a lot of more companies are kind of bringing that in, where you can go to counseling with your company. So that's something to definitely take a look into. So I know imposter syndrome, it's so hard in your 20s because you have social media. You have family telling you different things and different avenues that they're wanting you to go on. You have friends influencing you different ways. There's so many things with friends, family, social media. It can be overwhelming. And it can really hit your self-worth or self-esteem, and the way that you look at yourself, or that the way that you think about yourself. So imposter syndrome shows up so much in your 20s, and it's something that we need to talk about more. Um, you need to acknowledge it when it shows up. You can give it a name when it shows up, when you're feeling those feelings. You need to redefine how you're thinking. Try to speak positively to yourself. You know, it's going to come up, it's going to show up in different ways, especially in your 20s, because you have all these different people, your friends telling you one things, maybe different friends, different friend groups. You have family expecting things out of you, expecting so many different things, trying to give you avenues of where to go, where they want you to go, how they want your life to turn out, when it's your life, it's your journey. And you have to decide what journey you're going to take. Yes, your family, parents may be trying to help you. Yes, they want to see you succeed. Sometimes they have different beliefs than you, but again, just remember, it's your journey. Social media, again, it's your journey. It's where you want to go. It's not social media's journey. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about what you're seeing on social media. You're going to see so many different things. You're going to see people your age. They might be getting famous off of social media shows or different reality TV shows. Or they may come with a family with money, or they may make fast money somehow. Just remember, it's your journey. It's your journey in your 20s. You can lay out your 20s how you want it to be. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't feel like you have to be making a certain amount. Don't feel like you have to buy a house at a certain time. Don't feel like you have to start a family at a certain time. Or don't feel like you have to travel every month, because you don't. Reality is, starting out in your early 20s, you don't have that much money. Starting out in your career, you don't have that much money either. You're not in a senior level position. So just don't let social media get into you. Don't let your family get into you, or your friends. Yes, it's nice for them to help you. Yes, it's nice to ask for advice. Yes, it's good to go to them when you're feeling all these different feelings with imposter syndrome. But remember, it's like I've already said, and I'm going to keep saying, it's your journey. It's your journey. Your 20s is. It's what you want. If things don't go as you want and something happens and you're changing your life around, don't feel like you're not enough, because you are enough. Start speaking positively into yourself. And again, like I've said, if therapy is the next case that you need to go to therapy, go to counseling, because imposter syndrome really gets into our head and it really eats at us. So find help that way if you need to. Otherwise, start with redefining your thoughts when it shows up. Speak to close people that you have around you. Remember, you are enough. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate your accomplishments. Don't downplay them. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate them, small or large. Make sure that you celebrate your wins. But thank you again for watching. I know this was a tough topic, the imposter syndrome, but it's something that should be talked about more in your 20s. But thank you again for watching.